Here are some folks who may have done some serious case of time traveling. Number 10. Navigation for everyone. In the 1948 John Wayne movie, Fort Apache, there just might be a little hint of the future. In a clip from the movie, you can see Lieutenant Colonel Owen Thursday, played by Henry Fonda, and his daughter Philadelphia, played by Shirley Temple, riding in a stagecoach. However, since the dawn of time, people have been getting lost, GPS or not. Getting around has always been troublesome for many, and in this clip, it looks like Henry Fonda pulls out a black iPhone 7 and checks where they're supposed to be going. I hope he added a protective screen on top because those iPhones are slippery and they crack like crazy. Number 9. The time-traveling hipster. Hipsters are everywhere, even in the past century. This time-traveling hipster is a mysterious man photographed in 1940 wearing what seems to be modern-day hipster clothing and carrying a camera. I mean, you guys can see why this photo gained so much notoriety, right? While the identities of the photographer and the people shown in the image are unknown, the location and year was written on the back of the photograph. The writing says, quote, "Reopening of the South Fork Bridge after flood in November 1940. The image belongs to the virtual collection of the Bralorne Pioneer Museum in British Columbia, Canada. In April 2010, another picture from a different angle was found with the inscription, "Opening of the new bridge at South Fork." The hipster guy remains visible in the photograph and at least proves that the previous photograph most likely hasn't been doctored. Number 8. Greatest investor ever. In 2003, a man named Andrew Carlson was investigated by the FBI at the request of the Securities and Exchange Commission. The investigation began because Carlson somehow managed to increase his portfolio from $800 to $350 million in just 2 weeks. Yeah, I'd say that would warrant an investigation. Even with insider trading, I just don't see how that's possible. In his interrogation, Carlson, 44 at the time, said that he traveled in time from 200 years in the future. He said that it was too tempting to resist insider trading because with his knowledge about the movement of the stock market, he had to take advantage of it. Carlson also provided some predictions, such as the exact date of the invasion of Iraq, and offered to give Osama bin Laden's location and cure for AIDS in return for letting him return to his ship. Okay. In addition to his inexplicable story, there was no record of him anywhere. Even though the FBI found his story to be incredulous, even they had to admit that they couldn't find any record of him before 2002. Does this all sound too good to be true? That's because it was. It originated with the Weekly World News, an entertainment site devoted to satire a la The Onion. Yahoo decided to reprint this Weekly World News article under the heading of Entertainment News and Gossip, a title that didn't exactly convey fake news to its readers. After it showed up on Yahoo, it showed up in other magazines and newspapers, reprinted verbatim as a real news item. The FBI and SEC officials probably weren't too happy as they had to answer a bunch of questions from random journalists seeking comments about Andrew Carlson. Number 7. Charlie Chaplin's The Circus. In October 2010, Northern Irish filmmaker George Clark uploaded a video clip to YouTube called Chaplin's Time Traveler. The clip analyzes bonus material in a DVD of the Charlie Chaplin film The Circus. At one point, a woman is seen walking by holding up an object to her ear. Clark said that on closer examination, she was actually talking into a thin black device that appears to be a cell phone. The clip received millions of hits and was subject of television news stories. Judging by her demeanor, it's possible she was dropped in the wrong spot and is actually calling for someone to get her out before she's discovered walking in front of the camera. But I'll let you guys be the judge. Also, in another scene of The Circus, Chaplin's little tramp character is chased into a funhouse, which is briefly interrupted in one shot by the appearance of a large man in sunglasses who's carrying a shotgun. This doesn't fit in with the rest of the film, as not only would the inexpensive mass production of sunglasses not begin until the following year, but the dude in question bears a striking resemblance to the Terminator, who wouldn't be popularized in advertising until way later. Coincidence? I think not. Number 6. Mummy with 3 stripes. Back in 2016, the body of a woman was discovered in the Altai mountain region of Mongolia. Experts from the Center of Cultural Heritage of Mongolia believe the woman lived around 1100 years ago after somehow suffering a serious head wound. However, this is where it gets fun. When the images were first released, one of the pictures in particular caused quite a stir online after comparisons were drawn with Adidas snowboarding boots. Could it be that this lady went back to the past from the future? Okay, I think we all know the answer to that one. Her body and possessions have remained remarkably preserved even after hundreds of years have passed. The woman was found buried with a number of things, which included a handbag and 4 different sets of clothes. In 2017, her Adidas boots have been cleaned and polished, and pictures were released to the public again, which clearly show that she wasn't actually wearing Adidas snow boots. Surprise, surprise. However, some people still argue that they're still way ahead of their time and would be quite unusual to wear for her time period. Who knows? Maybe she was the Lady Gaga of back then. Number 5. The DuPont experiments. This clip of a woman walking around back in the 30s is nicknamed the Time Traveler in a 1938 film. The video shows a young woman dressed in a stylish but old-fashioned dress walking alongside a crowd of people who are also dressed in outfits from the same period. She seems to be talking excitedly into what looks like a cell phone that's held to her ear, which she then brings down to her chest. Was she FaceTiming? As she brings her arm down, you can see that it's pretty much the same size and shape as a modern cell phone. The footage is claimed to have been shot at a factory owned by U.S. industrial giant DuPont. The footage was shot more than 40 years before the first cell phone appeared. Here's a fun fact. The first mobile phone was made in 1973. Supposedly, this lady was actually a factory worker for DuPont, and she was given wireless phones to test for a week along with a few other co-workers. However, there's no documentation of this anywhere, and if there was a working prototype by DuPont in the 30s, way before anyone else had anyone, why didn't DuPont ever get into the industry? Number 4. Surfer Dude from 1917. Here's another interesting possible time traveler. This black and white photo shows a surfer-type dude sitting on the rocks at the beach just like everyone else. However, this guy looks like he could have been from the 80s or some random hipster from LA in 2017. If you take a look at the people around him, it's an understatement to say that he's dressed differently from everyone else. He looks as though he's wearing a baggy t-shirt and a pair of knee-length board shorts that he bought from PacSun. The guys around him are in a traditional brimmed hats and wearing shirts and long sleeve shirts, the usual attire back then for a sunny day on the beach. The 2 dudes sitting next to him also seem to be staring at him like, come on, man, what are you wearing? Why, yes, gentlemen, this is what your grandkids are going to dress like decades later. They don't seem none too impressed with the idea, though. Number 3. John Titor. Back in 2000 and 2001, during the infancy of the internet, a person named John Titor posted on several internet forums claiming to be an American military time traveler from 2036. Titor made numerous predictions regarding disastrous events from 2004 and beyond, all of which began attracting worldwide attention. In his online postings, Titor claimed that he was assigned to a governmental time travel project and sent back to 1975 to retrieve an IBM 5100 computer, which he said was needed to debug various legacy computer programs in 2036. Any of this make sense yet? Some of his predictions described the aftermath of a nuclear war, where plenty of countries around the world were devastated, the United States were broken into 5 smaller sovereignties, and the global environment and infrastructure was devastated in general. Interestingly enough, someone actually took the time to hire a private investigator on this guy. That 2009 investigation concluded that Titor was likely the creation of Larry Haber, a Florida entertainment lawyer, along with his brother John, a computer scientist. Guess what, guys? JohnTitor.com is still up. Number 2. 350-year-old iPhone. Apple CEO Tim Cook thinks it may be possible there's an iPhone hidden in a painting from 1670. Hey, even Tim Cook vaguely believes in time travelers here. The painting is called Man Handing a Letter to a Woman in the Entrance Hall of a House, was painted by Peter de Hooch in 1670. Well, it looks like a letter, but it obviously wasn't to Tim Cook. Tim Cook said while he was visiting Amsterdam for Startup Fest Europe, he visited the Rijksmuseum with retired Dutch politician Neelie Kroes when he spotted the oil painting masterpiece. Cook actually thought the painting was a Rembrandt, but let's focus on the time-traveling part of this one, shall we? Other people have said that the man in the painting could be holding an old-school iPod with a click wheel. Cook joked that, "I always thought I knew when the iPhone was invented, but now I'm not so sure anymore." Just to be clear, the first official iPhone was released in 2007, just in case you're on the fence with Tim here. Number 1. He can't be bothered. A mural made back in the 1930s appears to show a Native American man holding what looks like basically an iPhone. I mean, look at this. His thumb just in the right position to send that latest text. It isn't not clear exactly who this guy is because, of course, there wasn't exactly a description written on the back of the mural, but he might as well be popping off a selfie or thumbing through his newsfeed looking at the worst story of Whoa Vicky on Instagram, all while not being bothered by anything going on around him. The multi-part New Deal era mural is titled Mr. Pynchon and the Settling of Springfield, and it predates the iPhone by 7 decades. The painting was completed in 1937 by the late Italian semi-abstract painter Umberto Romano. The painting is loosely based on actual events that occurred around a pre-Revolutionary War encounter between members of 2 prominent New England Native American tribes and English settlers in present-day Massachusetts in the 1630s, some 200 years before the discovery of electricity. How could Romano have known about the existence of smartphones so long before they were invented? I'll tell you how. And you already know because it's the same old story. Time tourists, yet again, violating the number 1 rule of time travel, no cell phones. Or, at least one historian has posited the object depicted in the mural could be a mirror or small book of some kind. They're not fooling me, though. Here's what's next. Feet 2, he was about average height for French peasants, but short for an officer. The truth is, Napoleon wasn't short. He was actually slightly taller than the average Frenchman of his time. The misconception here really is probably because of the way Napoleon's height was...